Welcome to Soul Heart Intuitive, a space for intuitive astrology, soul reflection, and grounded cosmic guidance. I'm Sarah from Soul Heart Intuitive Coaching, and together we'll explore the wisdom of the skies and the wisdom already living within you. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, listen more deeply, and reconnect with the truth your soul already knows. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Hey, beautiful souls. I'm Sarah, your soul oracle, deconditioning coach, and mirror here at Soul Heart Intuitive Coaching. And this is your energy update for the week of June 28th to July 4th. So this week, something is shifting, not through force, not through urgency, and not through pushing harder. It's happening through awareness, through clarity, through the quiet realization that you're no longer where you used to be. And if you're willing to slow down long enough to notice it, you'll start to feel it. The skies this week aren't asking you to become intentional with your energy. Not every opportunity requires a response. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every path is yours to follow. This is a week of discernment, a week of choosing where your energy truly belongs, because momentum is returning. But this time, it doesn't need to come from pressure, it can come from alignment. On June 28th, Mars in Taurus will sextile Jupiter in Cancer. Momentum begins to build, not through rushing, not through forcing outcomes, but through trusting the next step. You may notice a growing sense of clarity around where you're headed. What feels aligned becomes easier to recognize. What once felt complicated may suddenly feel simple. This energy asks, what if you trusted the path you're already on? What if you stopped questioning every step and allowed yourself to move forward? On June 28th, Mars enters the sign of Gemini. The pace begins to quicken. Ideas will multiply. Conversations accelerate. New possibilities begin appearing from every direction. But not everything deserves your attention. This transit reminds you that focus is a form of self-care. Just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should. Choose what truly matters. Let the rest pass by. On June 29th, Mercury is going to station retrograde in Cancer. The energy is going to turn inward. Reflection begins. Old memories, old conversations, old emotions, not to pull you backward, but to help you understand what still needs your attention. Mercury retrograde is not a punishment, it's a pause, an invitation to revisit what hasn't been fully processed, to listen more carefully, to speak more intentionally, and to hear what your heart has been trying to say all along. On June 29th, we have our full moon in Capricorn. This is your mid-year checkpoint, a moment to step back and ask, what's working and what's not? What am I ready to stop carrying? The full moon shines a light on what is sustainable and what is not to criticize your progress, to help you see clearly. Celebrate how far you've come, acknowledge what you've learned, and be willing to adjust your course where needed, because clarity isn't failure. Clarity is wisdom. On June 30th, Jupiter is going to enter the sign of Leo, and the energy begins to expand outward. Your gifts want to be seen, your voice wants to be heard, your heart wants to be expressed. But this isn't about seeking validation. It's about sharing what is authentically yours to share. Leo teaches us that true confidence comes from within, not from applause, not from approval, but from knowing who you are. The question becomes, what would happen if you allowed yourself to take up space? On July 1st, Jupiter is going to square Chiron. Something tender may rise to the surface, a place where you're still questioning your worth, a place where you've forgotten your own value. Not because something is wrong, but because something is ready to heal. This aspect isn't showing you your weakness, it's reminding you of your strength. Your worth is not something you earn, it's not something you prove, it's something you remember. On July 4th, Mars is going to conjunct Uranus. Conversation, an idea, a realization, something unexpected may change your perspective. So stay curious. Before reacting, make sure you pause. Before assuming, listen. The breakthrough you're looking for may arrive through the words you least expected to hear. On July 4th, Mars will sextile Neptune. Your intuition and your actions begin working together. The dream you've been carrying, it's asking for movement. Not frantic movement, not perfection, but aligned movement. This is beautiful energy for creating from inspiration rather than obligation. Trust what calls to you. Trust what feels meaningful. Trust what continues to return to your heart. This week isn't about getting everything right. It's about becoming more aware, more intentional, and more aligned. If things feel like they're shifting, they are. If old emotions are surfacing, they have something to teach you. If clarity is arriving, allow yourself to receive it. Because the real transformation isn't happening outside of you, it's happening within you. One realization, one choice, one moment of truth at a time. And that is how your next chapter begins. So take a breath. You're not behind. You're right on time. And everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You're not leaving the path. You are the path. So I've pulled cards for the overall energy of the week. And we have Venus, love, Mercury retrograde, reinvention, and Moon, soul. So this is really an opportunity for you to get in touch with what is it that you love and what is it that your soul is telling you to do. This is a time where you can really look back and see things a little bit more clearly for what maybe they are or what they might have been. You have an opportunity here to reinvent yourself, to do things differently. And the overall energy is supporting this. It's telling you that you can do things differently. You can be a different person. You don't have to walk the same path. If you are becoming aware of your issues, then you can do something different. You don't have to remain and stay the same person that you've always been just because it's convenient. You can do something different. So I pulled cards for each of the zodiac signs, and the messages, they're layered. Our sun and rising sign are where your future self is whispering to you through the veil. So let's tune in. Remember, this isn't a matter of controlling the outcome, but to mirror back what your soul already knows is ready to shift. So let this be your pause, your anchor, and your reminder that this energy isn't here to break you, it's here to recalibrate you. All right. So, Aries, your card is acceptance isn't resignation, surrender, presence, and inner peace. So, this is really a time for you to take a step back. This isn't a time for you to be your normal impulsive self. And I don't mean that for it to come out as cross as a bad way, but this is a time for you to really take a step back. This is a time for you to reflect and to really think about what it is that you want. Surrender to the energy that's going on. This isn't a time for you to push. It's a time for you to go inward and to think and to see what it is that's going on. When you're able to surrender, you're able to receive the clarity that you're looking for. So I really want you to tap into finding a way of that inner sense of peace within inside of you. Don't let this crazy, hectic energy get you down and make you question yourself. This is a time for you to accept what it is that's going on. Remember, that doesn't mean that you're giving up. It just means that you are looking at the energy through a different lens. Taurus, your card this week is performer, image management, validation addiction, and emotional split. So, Taurus, you are performing right now. This is a show, and you don't have to be this way. You can be the true self that you are. You don't have to put on an act. You don't have to split yourself into two people. You can be the person that you authentically are. You don't have to put on this act for everybody else. You don't have to let people validate who you are. You can validate who you are. You, deep down, you know who you are, even if it may not seem like it at times. So this is a time for you to be authentic to yourself. So what do you need to do and how do you need to go about doing it so that you can be the most authentic version of yourself that you can be? Gemini, your card this week is unprocessed grief, loss, sorrow, and emotional stagnation. Grief is a really hard thing because a lot of times we may think that we've processed it, and then all of a sudden something else happens, and we realize not necessarily that we're back to square one, but we're at a different layer of grief. You may find that you are at that point where you wanted so desperately to move on and to move forward with something else that you didn't take the time to grieve what you had actually lost. And by doing that, you are kind of in this limbo world where you feel like you're moving forward, but you're not really moving forward. This is a time for you to take a step back. This Mercury retrograde is giving you an opportunity for you to go back and to really process what that grief was meant to tell you. You may have some realizations and some epiphanies as a result of this, and you may make choices and decisions as we move in through the month of July that you realize that this is no longer what you thought it was and that you need to make some changes. There is nothing wrong with changing the course. Sometimes people are here for a reason, sometimes they're here for a season, and sometimes they're here for a lifetime. Just because you made that decision then does not mean that you need to make that decision now. Your grief is going to help you to see that. So take the time that you need to really process the grief that you have, because that's what prevented you from taking this step, possibly to begin with. Really sit with it. Now, I don't want you to dwell in it, but I want you to sit with it. And I want you to see what the grief is that has to say. What does it have to say about you? What does it have to say about the person or what you lost? Because there's something in there that's valuable. And with this Mercury retrograde, you have an opportunity to look back and to see what that opportunity is telling you. Cancer, your card this week is healing bypass, impatience, spiritual bypass, and quick fix. So you are trying to skip all of the healing that needs to be done and just go right to the good stuff. Healing doesn't work that way. You are not able to truly spiritually bypass what it is just by thinking positive. Healing isn't a one-time thing. It is something that takes work and takes effort, and we really have to look at it. There is no quick fix here. You need to look at what it is that's going on in your life. What did you try to skip over? And you have the opportunity to go back and to try and do things again, but you can't skip over it. You have to really process what that information is there to tell you. It's important. You can't just skip over the healing work and say that you're all healed just because you did such and such one time. It doesn't work that way. So really take the time to sit with what it is that you did before and what can you do so you can truly be healing now. Leo, your card this week is self-sabotage, destruction, doubt, and survival habit. So, Leo, you are sabotaging yourself. You may not necessarily be realizing it, but what you're doing is a method that you have used in the past to survive. You have an opportunity to change this. This survival mechanism, this coping mechanism, it's led to destruction of things in your life that might have been good and doubting yourself in ways that you shouldn't have doubted yourself. You don't have to sabotage yourself to get what you want. But this is an opportunity for you to take a step back and to really look at what it is that you need to do so that you can move on. So again, this Mercury retrograde is an opportunity, but you have to be willing to take it and you have to see the pattern for what it is. Libra, your card this week is reclaim the lost self, identity, power, and soul retrieval. You let a piece of yourself go so that you could make other people feel happy. You could blend in, you could fit with what other people's expectations were. And as a result of that, you might have trouble recognizing who you are now. I've been there. It's not an easy process to go through to unwind who exactly it is that you are. But you have an opportunity here to look back and to see what is it that you did then and who is it that you are now. Because obviously you're not the same person that you were then. You've become somebody different. You have the opportunity here. Again, this is an opportunity time for you to do things differently, for you to see things clearly, for you to reclaim that version of yourself that you thought that you'd lost and that you did lose. But you don't have to stay there. You can do something different and be somebody different. The first step is awareness. Scorpio, your card this week is forgiveness sets you free, release, unhooking, and peace. This isn't necessarily a matter of forgiving other people, although that could be part of it. This is more a matter of forgiving yourself for what it is that you didn't see. Release the fact that you didn't see it for what it was. You have the opportunity to do something different. When you allow yourself to have peace, forgiveness is part of that. Forgiveness will help to give you the peace that you need. But you have to start through that process. So, what is it that you've been beating yourself up over? Start there because that will lead you to the forgiveness stage that you need to go through. It's not something that you do overnight, it is a process. But start yourself on the process to forgiving yourself because you didn't know. And just because you didn't know doesn't mean that you can't change things going forward. You can make any kind of changes that you want to. But the fact of the matter is that you didn't know then, but you know better now. And as a result, you can do things differently now. Scorpio, Sagittarius, your card this week is wholeness includes cracks, imperfection, tenderness, and humanity. You are whole exactly as you are. Accept that version of yourself. You are imperfect. You don't have to be a perfect person. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to humanity at a large. Everybody is doing the best that they can with the information that they have at the time. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to accept what other people are doing, but it does mean that you need to accept the fact that wholeness isn't perfect. We are human beings having a human experience and we are on a journey. Not everything happens all at once, not everything happens in one moment. You learn as a result of what things go wrong in your life. That is the cracks portion of yourself. But you can glue yourself back together as a result of what it is that you've experienced. And that is ultimately where your wholeness is going to come from. So this is the opportunity for you to start to glue yourself back together, to see these cracks as teaching moments. What did you learn as a result of whatever it was that you went through? Start the process. You won't regret it in the end, but it's something that you have to start, and awareness is the first step. Capricorn, your card is repeating cycles, unconscious loops, familiar pain, and pattern addiction. You may start to notice that you have repeated different patterns. There's nothing wrong with having repeated the pattern. But the question is when do you see it? What are you seeing it for what it was? You can do things differently. You can see things for what they are. But what is it that you need to look at? What do you need to become aware of? What cycles are you repeating? And then you can go back and you can look at things for what they are now. And you can start to make adjustments and you can start to make shifts and you can start to change things. Because the truth of the matter is that cycles are here to teach us something. They're here to teach you something. And once you become aware of the cycle, you can start being an active participant and start to change it. So I kind of skipped over Virgo, and they want me to bring Virgo in now. So we're going to go backwards a little bit and then we'll go forwards. So Virgo, your card is Invisible One, shrinking, hiding, and fear of being seen. You are keeping yourself hidden so that you are not the object of other people's motives. You're trying to reduce yourself so that you aren't seen. You don't have to be invisible. You are meant to be a person who stands out. And as a result of that, this is a time for you to really step out and for you to be seen for the person that you are. Don't allow yourself to shrink. Don't allow yourself to hide. You are valuable just exactly as you are. All right. So back on track. Aquarius, your card this week is perfectionist, pressure, shame avoidance, and hypercriticism. You are not perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be the person that you are. Don't shame yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself to be perfect. Just be the person that you are because that person has something important to contribute. So allow yourself to be the imperfect person that you are and know that the person that you are has something to give. All right, and Pisces, your card this week is betrayal, broken trust, anger, and heartbreak. You have been betrayed by somebody, and betrayal is a really hard thing to have to go through. It's a really difficult lesson to have to go through, but doesn't mean that you have to put that on everybody. Just because a person broke your trust, that doesn't mean that everybody breaks your trust. You can be angry with that person. You can be heartbroken over that person, but don't let it impact the other relationships that are going on in your life. You have to do what is in your best interest. So if somebody betrayed you, that's on them. You can blame them. You can have problems with them. And if it just happened, I would advise you to be angry with them, to really let that anger come out. But I don't want you to stay there. At some point in time, you need to move on from that lesson. Cast that person out of your life if that's what it takes for you to move past it. Betrayal, as I said, is a really hard thing to have to go through. It's a hard thing to learn. But don't let one person's betrayal impact your entire life. So remember, you're not lost, you're between stories. So let the messages find a place in your body, even if they don't make sense yet. Because sometimes the most powerful knowing comes in the quiet after the card is pulled. So let the messages you received anchor your next step, even if you can't see the full map yet. Our sun and rising side are codes that are layered. Let them sit, let them settle. And if you're craving deeper cosmic guidance and spiritual anchoring, come join me inside the Soul Keys Temple. It's my signature monthly membership. You'll find full details at www.soulheartintuitivecoaching.com. And you can also always book a personal soul session with me if you want to go deeper one-on-one. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, and the magic continues there. So here's to a week of sacred pivots, anchored clarity, and deep inner resonance. So stay tuned in, stay luminous, stay you, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for spending your time with me here at Soul Heart Intuitive. If this episode resonated, please be sure to follow the podcast and share it with someone who may need this message today. And if you're ready to explore your own cosmic blueprint, cycles, and the deeper wisdom guiding your path, you can learn more or book a session at www.soulheartintuitivecoaching.com. Until next time, trust your intuition, stay connected to your truth, and remember to stay connected to the wisdom within you.